Hey everybody, it's PartyElite, here to break the seal on the Aquatic DLC for Planet Zoo with the Grey Seal. Taking a slightly different approach with this new DLC and how I cover it soon after and shortly before its launch as well. We've tried a couple different things with the last couple of DLCs, and I'd love to hear your thoughts on this approach. This approach being a sandbox zoo where over a handful of episodes we will be adding one animal through each episode, or at least one new enclosure through each episode, starting with a time lapse to actually develop the space as we're doing right now, followed by a conversation about the animal in Zoopedia, looking at its information and its details, and then finally capping it off with actually bringing the animal in and taking a look at the animal's behavior, as well as how it interacts with other features or elements from the DLC. That's the plan right now. If you like the idea, if it sounds good to you, please don't hesitate as always to let me know by leaving a like and a comment down below. As always, it makes a massive difference in how I approach content on the channel, what I do more or less of, and literally how I go about doing it. So if you like this approach to the DLC and you would like to see it for future updates to Planet Zoo as well, let me know and I will keep that in mind. And of course, if you have any feedback for the other animals of this DLC moving forward, let me know that as well. The next episodes will be out Thursday, Friday, and Saturday of this week. At least that's the plan right now. But again, I will keep my eyes peeled for any comments that have any suggestions, thoughts, opinions, recommendations, and what have you. Now, if you're interested in picking the DLC up for yourself as well, you can check it out at the link in the description down below first. It'll be in the pinned comment down below as well, which I will pin as soon as I can. But the DLC should be available at those links. And if you buy it from that link, then it will be supporting the channel as you make your purchase as well. Not an obligation at all, but just thought I'd mention it. It might take a little bit longer to arrive at that link, actually. So if you're in a rush to pick it up right away, then of course, completely understandable if you grab it from somewhere else, but just thought I'd throw it out there. Anyway, enough of all that talk, enough of this introduction. This time lapse is moving faster than I remembered. We're actually getting right into it. We're diving right in, as it were. So I established a bit of an outer perimeter first, as you saw with the path, just using the boardwalk path over here because I felt like, aquatic, we're gonna have it just kind of makes sense, doesn't it? But beyond that as well, you can see I'm also making a bit of a sort of an outcropping that's just north of the screen over here. And we also have this underwater experience as well. I wanted to see what an underwater tunnel experience is like using not just the seals as the animal, but any of the other animals that we're getting with this DLC as well. Now, again, just in terms of the enclosure itself, I'm not too focused on the finer details like I often am, like I am with the franchise zoo, for example. This is really more for me an opportunity to sort of experiment with the new pieces primarily, and to test, I should say, the new animals. What can they do? What are they capable of traversing? What kind of slopes do they need to get in and out of water? How do they look in the water? How do they look outside of the water? Lots of new stuff, lots of new fun stuff to look at. How do they play with their toys? Things like that. So that's more my draw over here. So you won't see me spending time on like refining how the hole in the ground looks where the path goes tunneling through. So just a heads up for those of you that are wondering about my my angle here and sort of the what I would sometimes call a lack of refinement in certain areas. I'm going to be honest, I might not be able to keep it up. It does bother me a little bit, but I was thinking in the interest of time, in the interest of what people want to see out of a DLC, which is the new stuff, I would stay focused on that. Now, you can see as I flip through some of the construction materials over here, some of the stone that I was using earlier, or rather some of the rock I was using earlier, is actually faux rock, and that is new with the Aquatic DLC. It definitely looks, well, faux, I suppose. It looks fake 100%, but it has sort of a painterly feel to it, I suppose, is the best way to put it. And you'll see me using that alongside some natural rock as well, just to see how they work together, and if they work together, if you're able to swap in fake and real rock to accomplish a good look. Now, this little curved piece you're seeing over here is actually a piece of from the Aquatic DLC as well. It's sort of a fencing piece, and you might have seen me playing with some fencing pieces earlier as well. There was a curved one and a straight one. There are new fence pieces available with the Aquatic DLC as well. Now, I didn't want to sit down and look at each of the, you know, however many hundreds of pieces there are being added through the DLC, because personally, with my own approach at least, I oftentimes find like, you know, some of those pieces work for my approach. Some of those pieces, with my approach, again, personally, I wouldn't really use them for whatever reason, only because of, you know, how I build and how I engage in that aspect of the game. So I thought the best way to see those pieces in action is see how they become relevant in sort of a free-form approach over here, and sort of an open-ended, let's just build something and see how the pieces come up. Trying to build a bit of a you know, barrier kind of thing over here. I think this is my first time building something like this, actually. I don't often do something like this, so even there, trying to, every once in a while, I'll push out of my comfort zone, using some references, obviously, to see how other, how real zoos actually build these sorts of spaces and what kind of viewing platforms and barriers they have. So just getting some inspiration from references online as well, and building accordingly. But again, you can see I actually get a little too distracted by trying to make this space look smooth and refined when it really is not the focus or the hero of today's episode at all. An episode which, by the way, ends up being a fair sight longer than I'd initially anticipated. This was supposed to be a short 20-minute episode where we just kind of sat down, looked at the new animals, but you can see over the course of this episode just how intensely focused we get on what the animals can and can't do. Again, let me know what you think of the format. In fact, it's different than what I'd intended going into it. You can see over here I'm kind of struggling a little bit with, I'm not sure why things aren't perfectly lined up and flat, but ultimately I decide, you know what, we'll come back to this later, or perhaps not at all. This is not the important aspect over here. I want to get to some of the new toys that we have to play with, so just going to make some small adjustments here and there. You will see me coming back every once in a while to fiddle with it because I can't help myself, but we will be moving on shortly afterwards. But yeah, so there are a lot of new toys to play with. I mean, there's the new fencing, there's the new fencing pieces as well. I do wish that the horizontal bars were available as separate pieces as well. I could not find them, and the fences themselves are fairly long, so that means for this kind of iterative process where you have these curves and whatnot, you can't necessarily use them. And here you can see again the aquatic pieces that I was just kind of fiddling with a little bit. At the bottom as well, you can see some more aquatic pieces. You can see some aquatic sort of fake trees. You can see some sculptures that we'll be toying around with later as well. But right now here you can see I'm using real rocks versus some of the fake rocks that you'll catch from time to time. I mean, you can see on the far left, you can see some of them, they do stand out, they do look different. But with a little bit of color picking and color adjustment, these are the fake ones, they actually blend quite nicely, which is cool. I'm glad to see that. Here are some of the new toys that the literally enrichment toys that the seals will be using, and the underwater feeder as well, which we'll be spending plenty of time with. Don't worry if you feel like this is going too quickly and you're like, I didn't see anything. We will be spending plenty of time with all of these things and seeing how they actually work and how they get used and everything like that. So fear not. Now over here, again, just building up a rocky platform. Something that I really wanted to test, and I perhaps was overzealous about, was how the seals can navigate vertical changes. Verticality, I suppose, is the word I was looking for. Can they hop? Can they jump? Can they go up slopes? What's their limitation? So you'll see, and I do repeat myself a little bit afterwards as well, after the time lapse, but you'll see I try to experiment with, okay, well, rocks underwater, rocks that blend from underwater to above water, fake rocks, real rocks, what can they and can't they play with and use? And again, for me, this is not just an experiment or rather, this is not just an experiment for myself, where moving forward, when the time comes to add these animals to my franchise zoos, I'll know what they can and can't do. But also, my hope is that for some of you who are thinking about picking up the DLC either right away or, down the line, maybe it's months from release and you're thinking about it right now and you're looking to understand how these animals work and what they can and can't do, hopefully this will help you as well. And hopefully you'll see some of the pieces that are available and how they get interacted with. That's the plan through this, mini series of adding these DLC animals to a separate sandbox zoo. But we'll see what y'all think about it. Of course, And if folks aren't fans, then we'll maybe move on to a different format or something. But that's neither here nor there. We'll see. What else do we do over here? So again, just forming the rocks. If you can see how, again, my usual self gets involved in like finessing things when it's not really necessary. And here you can see some of the fun new sculptures, actually. They come in a few different textures. They come in bronze and concrete. You can also see, momentarily you caught flashes of the illustrated versions as well, the illustrated signs. There are a couple of other pieces as well that we'll be dropping in. Some of the prefabricated pieces actually look quite fantastic, and I'm really quite pleased. It's hard to argue against their use. I'm usually all about like, yeah, let's build it all ourselves, but there are some really pretty prefab pieces that I'll be showcasing as well as we build this space out. But just setting the barrier up over here, making sure that everything is enclosed and properly closed off, and the animals are not going to be able to escape. One of my classic problems. But yeah, I think that's pretty much it for what we do during the time lapse. You will see some work outside of the time lapse as well. I think I'm actually going to, before I call it... Oh no, you know what? That was a lie. Right, we have this entire underwater passageway to do still. My apologies. I didn't want to just leave it as an open footpath. As much as you can do that, it doesn't really feel right at all, and that's not my MO whatsoever. So I decided to build a rocky underwater passage over here rather than build it up with glass walls or anything. So it's all going to be rocks on the sides. Going to do a glass rooftop to the tunnel, and then use rocks to further transition between where the glass rooftop has to make a harder angle turn than the pieces would allow. Again, it's pretty simple to build this tunnel. You got to put the water down first, and then you have to tunnel the path, turning on the tunneling mode. You have to get deep enough that it ignores the water volume, and that allows you to dig through. However, once you do this, you have to commit to your water. You cannot adjust your water without filling this gap in and redoing that whole process with tunneling out the ground again. So just be very careful about that. But yeah, they're just putting in the glass ceiling, as it were, the rooftop to this tunnel. You can see that's me discovering that I can't really rotate it as hard as I would like it to. So rather than do it a gradual way, I'm going to go ahead and make a hard turn with the glass, and this middle section over here, we're going to create a stone archway. I quite like how it looks, actually. I'm really pleased with this end result, and I might actually use this for those franchise zoos I was talking about earlier. That, again, some of you are already very well aware of the franchise zoos I'm talking about. But yeah, this is coming together pretty nicely. I'm actually quite pleased with how it all looks and feels coming in down here, and in action, it looks, honestly, I'm really quite pleased. Oh, right, and of course, I got to change to this somewhat tacky-looking new flooring option. It looks like caustics. I call it tacky in a completely friendly way, for the record. It is absolutely 100% what a zoo would do for its aquatic area. In fact, I think Toronto Zoo might literally have that kind of flooring. I'm not 100% sure because it's been so long since I've been there, but it might literally have that kind of flooring at a certain part. But yeah, here you can see me kind of just looking around at some of the other pieces before I decide to call it a time lapse. That is a very nice, guard tower. These are pretty interesting pieces as well. These are actual waterfalls. We have tried to make these. We've tried to, make faux structure waterfalls at the PartyElite Zoo South countless times, and now there's an actual way to do that. And here you can see a lighthouse as well, which is just absolutely beautiful in its colors and everything. Like I said, there are quite a few pieces that, quite a few like prefab and pre-built pieces that are very fun to look at and play with. In fact, I'll be putting down some shells as well for some stores and washrooms that I feel like are just absolutely gorgeous as they are. So kudos, honestly, with regards to the art and style and aesthetic, and all the pre-built pieces as well. And apart from that, we're just going to put down some of these important facilities. We'll be going over those as well as some other new functionalities of the DLC, such as the animal talks and the water temperature regulator after the time lapse, of course. But first, we're going to talk about the animal, and then we're going to talk about the space, and then we're going to watch the animal actually interact with the space above and below the water level, I suppose. But folks, it's time, for the first time this episode, for regular speed. Alright folks, we are back from the time lapse, and I am rather curious to see how this space gets used by these seals. As is PartyElite tradition over here, we've obviously gone way larger than we needed to. I'm fairly certain we've gone way larger than we needed to, but that's okay. That's okay, because I'm hoping to experiment, or rather hoping to test how they behave across a few different scenarios, and you might be able to tell, I'm hoping to see how they, well, if they're able to climb rocks at all. Are they able to kind of like hop on top and kind of make their way up and down, or do we have to create like a smooth ramp? I wouldn't be surprised if we need a smooth ramp for them, but again, like I said, I'm just kind of testing a variety of things. And if they are able to get up this high, are they able to get up, are they able to get up to here? Because over here it's a little bit different, because we've got some of these rocks, underwater. It might be a little bit easier for them to get up top. Over here, they might be able to navigate up over here, probably pushing the seals way beyond any reasonable sort of degree of versatility, but that's why we're here, right? We're trying to see how far we can push them. Now, again, like I said, this enclosure is maybe way too big, but that should be good use of the spaces over here and over here. And if you're wondering what this is about, because obviously there's a viewing area over here, but if you're wondering what this is about, this I actually want to set up to try out the brand new feature. I'm really excited to see how the animal talks work. There's this little thing over here that we have to put down, and a person should arrive at this little thing, and you can schedule when the talks take place. And what I'm hoping for is that by putting it up over here, we'll actually see the whole food thing, where like they toss food to the animals and stuff as well. So I think that'll be pretty interesting. I'm curious if a central position makes sense. You can see it's kind of snapping to the ground. We cannot use the precise placement tool, like tapping X doesn't do anything, so it's like placing a bench or like a bin or something like that. I wonder if we put them sort of in the middle here, is that too far away? Well, in fact, why don't we put one down over here? Why don't we put one? Yeah, there we go. Put one down, and no species assigned. Got a scenery rating 37%. Oh, come on now, this is beautiful stuff. What are you talking about? Oh, there's no animal in here, so obviously I can't assign a species. What if I put it all the way up over here? It doesn't say. It doesn't say. All right. Well, let's go ahead and get the animals in and toy around with this afterwards. Perhaps this is primarily supposed to be an animal showcase, but I figured, why not show some of these new little bits as well. For this to work, though, we will need, well, for everything to work, we'll need a few different types of staff. So first of all, let's go ahead and. Our zoo is open, but first of all, we've got our the vendors that came through with these two purchases. I thought I'd show the some of the prefab pieces as well. It's not something I do typically when the DLC drops. Again, like I hopefully said during the time lapse, I'm looking for feedback with regards to this format as well. I've tried 2 different things, well, now 3 different things with when DLC releases in terms of how to showcase it. I'd love to know what you think. I'd love to know which method you've preferred so far. There's a 4th that I could have attempted with this DLC, but I thought this would be quite nice, giving us some time to explore each animal individually through multiple episodes of a bit of a mini-series, if you will, just to kind of experiment with them, rather than trying to get them all in one video like I did for South America, which was exhausting, and I certainly paid a price for that personal toll in terms of fatigue, or what we've done with Australia, where, at Elite Zoo South in our franchise mode Let's Play, we still got to add some Australian animals, right? Anyway, sorry, I digress. I need to go ahead and hire some staff. We've got our vendors, that's what distracted me there. Let's go ahead and get ourselves a vet. Let's get ourselves a keeper. And let's go ahead and get ourselves an educator as well. The educator, whose icon, by the way, I absolutely adore, is the person that will be taking care of the animal talks. Now, I've also got down over here, where'd it go? Down over here, this underwater box feeder. Very curious to see how this works and how it gets refilled. Like, does it get pulled out and refilled? Or I'm curious to see what happens. And of course, we have our little underwater viewing as well. I really want to see what these aquatic animals look like with a proper underground walk-through tunnel setup. So I just wanted to check that out and get that set up as well. And we might also, how about, why don't we do this? Why don't we set one of these up down over here as well? Barely fit. Just out of curiosity, just want to see how these work down over here. Oh, look at that scenery rating, 80% from being right underwater, 40% up over here. What if I move you to like, oh, does it have to, oh, hang on a second. No, it's just because of the slopes and stuff. I was like, does it have to be inside an enclosure? Uneven placement. Yeah, no surprise there. familiar territory for us. I'll put you over here, 41%. All right, listen, I'm just going to keep this over here for now. I don't mind the scenery rating being low, but evidently that's going to impact what guests think about the animal talk, and that's all good. And we're able to rename them. Yes, we are. Okay, cool. Just the one educator? No, let's get a second one. Where are we? Educator, number 2. Drop you down over here, just straight to work. There's no time to dally. Straight to work, right? And let's go ahead and do what else? Right, one more thing I want to highlight is the new water temperature regulator, which is another new addition. I believe it's just part of the update. Not necessarily. I'm not 100% sure actually if this is specific to the DLC. I know a lot of these platforms, these floats that we're using, the little rubber ducky, those are all new, of course, specific to the DLC. A lot of the aquatic themed building pieces are, of course, unique to the DLC. Then there's the water regulator as well. This allows you to adjust temperature across all bodies of water that it's in contact with. You're able to adjust its range. That way, if you have multiple bodies of water that require different sort of temperature ranges, you're able to do that, because otherwise it would be quite challenging to kind of puzzle piece things and avoid regulators that you don't need or don't want to apply to a certain area. And larger bodies of water will take longer to get to a certain temperature, as makes perfect sense according to just like how the real world works. So that's pretty cool. It's cool to have another little thing to manage. I've said this time and time again during my Let's Plays and on Twitter and stuff as well. Planet Zoo is a management game, as fun as it is to look at the animals and stuff, and to see new animals added. I really thoroughly enjoy when new management elements are added as well. So this is a great example of that, with the temperature regulator and the new, sort of education format as well, the new staff type as well. So we're going to be adding the seal today, the gray seal, aka the Helicoris grippus atlantica. They are, in terms of endangerment, least concern. Population in wild is 400,000 across both populations, meaning... Sorry? The Atlantic gray seal is a species of marine mammal that lives around the land masses of the Atlantic Ocean. UK, Ireland, Iceland, Norway, Denmark, France, Netherlands, Belgium, Germany, Sweden, Finland, Estonia, Latvia, Lithuania, Poland, Russia, Canada, USA. Western Atlantic gray seals are significantly larger than the Eastern Atlantic morph. That's what they mean about both populations. Their males measure between 7.59 feet and 9.57 feet in length and weigh 451 to 814 pounds, while females measure between 6.27 to 7.59 feet in length and weigh 352 to 550 pounds. Okay. The gray seal has large, round, barrel-like body that is gray, dappled with white, and a pale underside. Males tend to have darker coloration than females and have a prominent hook-shaped snout, whereas the female's snout is straight. Males are much larger than females. Gray seal pups are cream white and fluffy in appearance at birth, but will lose their baby fur when they molt between 3 to 5 months old. They're absolutely adorable, and I cannot wait to see baby seals in the game. I want to see how they've been implemented. The gray seal is not endangered, and it is hunted in many areas for its pelt. It is perceived as a pest by fishermen, and so the population is often culled. From 1982 to 1993, Norway, Iceland, and Canada offered bounties for Eastern Atlantic gray seal killings. Now, Europe has put some protections in place to restrict the killing of gray seals. Interesting. Also, very culturally significant and historically, not in the sense of history, but I mean in terms of in the past, an important source of all sorts of resources for Indigenous Canadian populations as well. Something that, when I integrate the gray seal into Elite Zoo North and our franchise zoo, I'll definitely be tapping into that like I did for the, polar bears and just the region in general, and the timber wolves and all that. So something to tap into for sure for me personally. Natural habitat, it's pretty cool to see how the waters are highlighted rather than... you can see the coastal areas at slight highlight of red. Either that's the islands and coastal areas actually being highlighted, or it's just a trick of the eye. But you can see how it's pretty cool that it highlights the water as opposed to the land primarily. We've got all the continents and stuff. A new piece of information over here is the deep water requirement. Man, they only need 200 meters square. I've definitely given them over 2,000 or something. I don't even want to check. Classic me, I know, I'm sorry. But yeah, you can see a new label over here, the deep water requirement. which let's just quickly check the giant panda. You can see it's listed, but obviously rated at 0. So it does obviously depend, much like anything else, on the animal itself. Species data over here, group size, excluding juveniles, is 3 to 8, up to 2 males, up to 8 females. All right, so at least we'll have a good number of them in this space. Male bachelor size is 3, female bachelor group size is 3 to 8. Interesting. Now, dominance is male dominance hierarchy. Old males tend to have their own harem, who's a word whose misuse I have talked about in the past many times. Not misuse, but misinterpretation, I suppose, into English. The mating system is polygynous, relations with humans is neutral, and guests cannot enter the habitat, unfortunately. 8.58 to 8.58 feet long for the males, 6.93 for the females, 25 years life expectancy, a weight of 528 pounds for the males and 451 for the females. Sexual maturity at 5 years, sterility at 30 years. So clearly they have been, often enough registered as living for beyond their life expectancy. Because if we know they get sterile at 30, but they only tend to live to 25, I guess it's relatively common that they go over 25, I suppose. 1 offspring per mating event, 11-month gestation, 13-month interbirth, and average reproduction in captivity. All right, fair enough. Social needs. This is actually the largest I've seen a write-up for reproduction. Holy wow. Okay, so social needs. Although gray seals will group together on land during the breeding season, they spend most of their lives living and hunting solitarily in the ocean. However, they will tolerate and be curious of other seals if they meet them. I mean, look at this guy's face. He looks curious. He looks like he's seen us looking at him through a glass, through the screen, and he's just like, what's up, buddy? He's like trying to figure out what we're up to. So adorable. Reproduction. Before the breeding season, gray seals will feed extensively, eating a huge amount of fish to build up their fat reserves ready for breeding. Prior to giving birth, female seals will haul out of the ocean to a rookery, a seal breeding area. Rookeries can be on sandy beaches, rocky outcrops, ice sheets, caves, islands, etc. The females will usually give birth to a single pup within a day of hauling out. Wow, that's fast. So I guess they spend most of their time in the water, and then when it's time to give birth, they're like, well, gotta go. And they they head up to the surface and find one of these rookeries. Fair enough. Males will join groups of females after they have given birth and try to gain their own harem, fighting off other males if they can. So males will join groups of females after they have given birth and try to gain their own harem, fighting off other males if they can. The first time I read that sentence, I read it as the male, after giving birth, will try to join groups of females. That's obviously on me. Gray seal fights can be aggressive and can become more violent depending on the number of females available. Okay, fair enough. After the 2 weeks of weaning, females are ready to mate. Wow. That's like immediate. Okay. Males will mate with multiple females, and females may mate with more than one male depending on how well they're being guarded. Once her pup is weaned and she has mated, the female will leave her pup and go back to sea. She will have not eaten during the 3-week period she was ashore. Okay. The males remain at the haul for around 6 weeks in the hopes of mating with as many females as possible. They will also not eat for the entire time they are on land. That explains the storing up of all that fat. Wow. Pups remain in the rookery living off their fat reserves until they have molted, at which point they will go to sea for the first time and migrate far away from where they were born. Female gray seals reach sexual maturity at 4 years old. Male gray seals reach sexual maturity at 3 years old, but are unlikely to mate until they are around 8 years old, because that is when they have grown to a size that will allow them to defend females from rival males. Very interesting. Okay, very interesting. So it's interesting. There's no detail on the receptivity. I've been doing a lot of the African animals and stuff at Leads to South lately, right? And a lot of time receptivity of the female to the male or vice versa, it's come up fairly often, but no mention of it here. So I imagine it's relatively, copacetic. Not sure how else to phrase it, but that's pretty cool. That's pretty interesting. Also, the wait for a male gray seal to go from 3 years and then wait 5 years. I guess they try, but they're unlikely to succeed. Okay, gotcha. Okay, fair enough. Research status, I mean, of course, we're playing this is in sandbox mode, so we don't have to worry about any of the research options or anything like that. Skittle, Snowman Skittle enrichment. All right, so there's some crossover, I suppose, with some of the stuff from previous DLC. and the rubber duck. We're going to see how the rubber duck performs. Platform floats as well. That's habitat enrichment. Okay, good stuff. I want to see them hopping through for sure. And there's the underwater box feeder, the only food enrichment. All right, very interesting. And no interspecies enrichment. So that's the seal. Let's go ahead and see if we can't pick some up. Over to gray seals, please. Where are we? G is for gray seal. There we go. And they're quite expensive, aren't they? Go ahead and adopt you. We got one male. We got another female. Go ahead and get ourselves... Let's pick everybody up. Let's pick everybody up, and let's get them in here and just see how they kind of interact with the space and move around and whatnot. I believe I will want to... For animal storage. And yes, there we go. Send to zoo. Over to here. Wonderful. I love being able to multi-select like that. Absolutely beautiful. All right, let's go ahead and I just want to do a quick double check over here. It is up to 2 males, up to 8 females. Yes, so we should be good. All right, let's go ahead and unpause over here and just take a look at how this all works. Now, this we should be able to assign. Species not selected. I guess we have to wait until the animal gets delivered. Oh, right. I put the keeper hut and the trade center up over here. Again, some of those prefab pieces. I imagine this is probably upsetting some of the guests over here, but we don't really have to concern ourselves with that. Oh no, yeah, these are pretty well contained. But yeah, these are pretty fun designs. They feel very, I don't know, the colors and all remind me of, they make me think of like Newfoundland and just Maritimes, I guess, over here. So that's quite nice. A little personal note, I suppose, that this DLC hits. But yeah, curious to see how these guys move around. I mean, you can see how massive this space really is. I'm curious to see if guests are actually going to head under and check out the underwater experience over here. Hopefully the process we went through there isn't all for naught. Are we about to? I'm not going to put down education boards or anything. There comes the animal, dropped off number 1. So big. No species assigned. Interesting. Can I put you right up there? Gray seal. Is that because you weren't at the edge, or is it something else? Find out together. Again, experimenting with this, with all these new features and elements and whatnot. Doing a little worm over there. Okay, we're good. And can throw food. So this is close enough, I guess. Hey, buddy. How's it going? Oh, you're so cute. So cute. All right. Now, is this space to your liking? Obviously, socially, there's a bit of a problem. Wow. What? Not enough space? Okay, that's got to be because... yeah, see, I knew it. I was like, it's impossible that there's not enough space. Okay, so they cannot climb down these things. Fair enough, fair enough. Go ahead and get rid of some of these then. Right? And let's see what that does to your base here. Can't come down here either. Okay, all right. Let's go ahead and get rid of this. Then you kind of roll down there. No. Okay, how smooth do we have to make this? How smooth do we have to make this? What if we do that? Does that give you access? You can get kind of down here. All right, let's go ahead and get rid of some more of these. That's that whole thing. Get rid of you. Get rid of you. Okay, interesting. They, I mean, not like necessarily surprised or anything, but certainly interesting to see the limitations here. Get down a little bit more. What are we looking at now? Look at synchronized, like, wobbling. All I can think to call it. What if I go ahead and put you down at an angle here? Will they be able to get into the water? I should hope so. I hope they can go down that slope. No way. Okay, interesting. Oh, no, there's a refresh. No, still nothing. A little bit too lumpy here, perhaps. I've had animals be able to use the rocks. Yeah, these guys can definitely use the rocks. Pick you up a little bit here. How about now? Still nothing. Maybe it's not wide enough. Most beautiful sounds of a seal. Go ahead and spread this out a little bit. Put this over a bit too. See if that does a trick. Got nothing. Oh, was that refreshing there? We got guests coming up over here, so that's nice. Now. Surely we can get them to come down over here. surely we can get them to come down over here. Lift this up a little bit. Are you just basking in the sun? Oh, they're so cute. Adorable. Versatile area, this counts, okay. Try and get you down here, buddy. Let's try and get you guys down here. Slowly filtering more seals in. Still nothing. Wild. I'm just gonna go ahead and get rid of this entirely. See what that does for us. Lots of guests up over here. Are you able to? No, still nothing. This is what we get for experimenting too much. I don't think that's going to help because it's this steep drop-off that's the problem. It's the steep drop-off that's the problem. It's weird to me though that they can't keep continuing down this way. I mean, I guess the guess this is acting as a bit of a block. Okay, let's see. There we go. That did the trick. Beautiful. Now they're able to get across the board over here. They are able to climb on top of some of these, but these rocks might be a little too tightly packed over here. Okay, okay. Okay, not a problem. Again, this this is what... Oh, yeah, look at that. Right into the water. Oh, they're so good. Taking a dip over here. I'll let myself get distracted by these animals for a little while. Watch them swim around. How do you like the space now? You're good? A little stressed out? Okay. Gonna hop on board over here. Still not enough space. That might be part of the source of stress. Go ahead and remove some of these, I think. Allow them to navigate through more of that space. Look at these guys. Now, what we can do over here in the animal talk is we can set music to play when there is there nothing... North America playlist. So this will set music to play in the area when there is no talk happening, but otherwise we can set a specific month when talks should happen. So let's go ahead and set it to June. March, April, May, June, and that way we'll see a talk happen here within the next handful of days. So that should be pretty cool. Now, what we can do as well is under staff, our educators... No, this wasn't it. It was... there we go. Manage talks. This is a separate thing altogether where we can set details for the talks through just a quicker sort of panel of its own. Down over here, I want to really quickly get this set up as well to the gray seal. Nobody's down here yet because I've got an excellent view from up top, but that's okay. That's okay. That's fine. Nothing of the world. Knew I was taking a risk. Look at this crowd, though. I just got to go a little bit further over. Go down that way. I might force them through down that way afterwards by just removing this. I just wanted to see the feeding and stuff happen. June is about to hit. Well, there's June. Where is... Oh, no, June year 2. No. Come on. We might have missed it. Might have just lasted a couple of days. We might have missed it. My bad. And again, I'm not really worried about donation bins and things like that, obviously. Oh, look at that. Going in for the deep dive over here. And, like, if you're down here, you actually... Like, look at that. That's pretty cool. Can you imagine? Can you imagine? Oh, man. I would love this. I would absolutely love this. Even the ones that are just at the surface. You get a pretty good view of them. Oh, that's amazing. Look at that drifting to a stop here, buddy. Pretty good. Pretty good. We haven't seen these get used yet. Keep our eyes peeled for all that. Why is there just a pile of fish over here rotting? What's that about? Excuse me? I'm gonna go ahead and really quickly pause for a second. Let's go ahead and get ourselves a caretaker, perhaps. Not really concerned about too much. Oh, here's our educator ready to give a talk. I see he was late for that animal talk last time. They actually have to be able to walk and arrive in time to give the talk. All right, let's see what happens over here, right? Very curious how animated they are, and there it is. But he gets his mic out. Wondering if people have reactions to talks and stuff as well. Now this one does say that they can throw food, so I definitely want to see that happen. Definitely want to see that happen. Come on, buddy. Now, does the talk last the entire month? That's another interesting element, if that's the case. If that's the case. Not sure what that was about. Alright, the animals are happy. They've got enough space and stuff. I want to see how this looks, and then I want to try and make sure they're able to get up over there. I want to see just how much they can climb. And of course, we have to make sure our staff is able to get there as well. Oh. Did you just... Did he just... Is that where this pile is from? That ain't right, man. That ain't right. That's not what you're supposed to do. Okay, okay, not a problem. Maybe this central location isn't a good idea. Maybe this central location was not a good idea. Senior rating 29%. Gee, I wonder why that's dropped. I wonder why that's dropped. All right, let's try moving this. Hey, look at that. We got guests coming up over here as well. Let's go ahead and move this over here. Oh, you know what? It won't. Right. Water obstructs food throw. Okay, what about up over here? Water obstructs food throw. Didn't see that earlier. I guess they can't throw food into the water. Oh, interesting. Very interesting. Okay. So this guy should be able to throw food, I imagine, onto here potentially. We'll try that. Set you up for September talk. Let's go ahead and set it at like noon over here. Wow, that was... Really hope that fish gets cleaned up. I don't want it just sitting there. And we could set a time for this talk over here as well. Let's set it to November, sure. I want to see if guests actually get drawn to the talks. Are these guys all running because something escaped? There's litter somewhere. Yeah, it's being cleaned up. That can't be why. While we're waiting for this talk to kick off, which it's just about to do, I do want to see where they toss... I want to see where they toss the food. I need to get some bins down, don't I? It's starting to become a real playthrough over here. Then, do we have any aquatic themed trash cans? Doesn't look like it. Put down some of these, Oh no, we do. Aquatic. Just the one. I like it. Not overly complicated or anything. Put a bunch down. Here's this guy. Getting in the zone. About to throw some fish. Hopefully just not on the ground. Come on, buddy. I believe in you. I believe in you. But yeah, so I guess it does last the entire month. And it's good to know the limitations of placing it. It's like a bench or a bin or anything like that. You can't put it on slopes. You can't put it on, you know, curved surfaces. Oh, there's the fish. Dropped off over here. Alright, let's see. Now, can the animals actually reach it, though? Ah, they can't. Okay, so this is actually... This experiment has ended up being a bit more interesting than I had initially anticipated. Because it's definitely showing how you cannot use the animal talks. You do have to be very careful about where you place it, because otherwise you'll get situations like this. Where the animal, even though the food can be thrown, the animal can't actually reach the food. That's what we have up over here as well when the fish was dropped off over there. The animal can't actually get to it, so, you know, something to keep in mind. I love that little drifting move over there. Offspring do... Are you kidding me? We're going to have babies? Oh my god, I wasn't expecting to see babies. That's fantastic. That's fantastic. Alright, let's see if we can't make this climbable as well. Alright, alright. See what that does for you. You can get up there, but you can't get up any higher. What's the deal with that? Let's see. Try that. Oh, look, we do have guests coming down over here. Okay, you're able to get up to there. You're not able to get all the way up to here, though. Might be because of some of these. I'm not too concerned about like that stuff being perfect right now. I just want to experiment and test these features out and see how they work. All right, these guys down here. Whoa, buddy. Okay. All right, cool. I mean, hey, listen, if that doesn't add to the flair, it's nearly time for Animal Talk 1. All right, cool. So people are drawn to the Animal Talks. I imagine that's why he's down over here. I also imagine we cannot throw food when we're down in here. Oh, this is so cool, though. Look at this. This is so cool. The shadows being cast and everything. Oh, my God. Look at this. That's amazing. And look at that lighting as well. Just the fuzz there being lit up by being backlit. I love it. I absolutely love it. I adore that. Very nice. I want to catch my my baby seal as well. Don't want to miss that. Oh yeah, there we go. What you doing here, buddy? What are you up to? You gonna chill up there? You gonna hop through the hole? What are you gonna do? This guy decided to get up top over here as well. Just kind of flopping away. Come on. Come on. September of year 2, we're expecting a baby. July of year 2, that one's sooner. Just kind of chilling on. They're just basking in the sun, I suppose. Fair enough, fair enough. This fish is still kind of chilling up here as well. Don't know how I feel about that. Yeah, it's okay. We don't have to worry about... I mean, I guess I could get some security. Sure, why not? Oh yeah, you can see more and more guests heading down that way as well to actually take advantage of the alternative view over here. I guess it's probably because the talk is happening right now. Cool, very cool. You can definitely influence guest movement. This side's a little barren, but that's okay. I expected as much. And we haven't caught them playing with the rubber ducky yet. Though it has been tipped over, so somebody must have played with it. Got that. And we haven't caught this shootout. Oh, there it is. Speak of the devil. That's the underwater feeder. Releasing some feed. I wonder if Buddy over there is going to come barreling forward and try to catch a nibble over here. Like play the Jaws music in the background over here. Man, can you imagine? Nah, he's... Oh, come on, buddy. Oh, there we go. I feel like that was him grabbing a bite. Pretty good, pretty good. That's a pretty good spot for it as well. You see the fish going up. That must have been a very good view of that bite. Oh, this is amazing. Now, what do they actually say about these views, though? Listen. I mean, yeah, there isn't much to see. There's just the one animal, but it's pretty cool, isn't it? How it's been laid out. Oh, here they come. Yeah, this is a pretty good spot for it. Oh, I love it. Beautiful. Beautiful. Now, where's my baby? Yeah, so you can see they climb on top of these as well. Now, let me actually check something here while we're waiting for the babies, because it's not until partway through year 2. And they're able to climb up over here. We could try and... I don't think so. I don't think it's all that easy for them. Like, this is pretty much flat, which is why they're able to get up there. Otherwise, it has to be sloped. Good to know. No, like, their hops are very minimal. It's good to know. Buddy over here. Is that good enough to climb? I guess not. And that is both with the faux rock as well as actual rock. Which, by the way, I feel like blends pretty nicely. They work nicely together. Alright, well, we can see the limitation of this over here, I think, without needing to try and push it any further. It's quite clearly not something that works so easily. They're not able to hop. So that's fine. For the record, I'm not saying that I demand they be able to hop that high. I'm just letting us all know, letting myself know, especially for when the time comes to build and establish a space for them in our franchise mode. Still no luck up there, eh? Interesting. I wonder what's blocking. Nah, It's unimportant. I apologize. Letting myself get too focused on that. I mean, the seals are doing pretty well. We see how the animal talks work as well. Nothing too... Well, actually, I was going to say nothing too surprising, but actually there's quite a bit surprising. Oh, look at that, though. He's getting up top over here. Like, I'm definitely glad that I played around with that today. You toppled the rubber ducky. Just swam over it. Definitely glad that we took a look at the animal talks and saw that it does have some limitations in terms of how you can place it. Or rather, not just limitations on how you can place it, but also where it allows you to place it, even though it's not necessarily ideal. I don't think that was him playing with it. I think that was just him just, like, not being able to stop quickly enough. Or her, rather, sorry. Alright. Where is our other female? Is that you up here? Taking a look. And I was just having a little sleep. Don't worry about catching those Z's. Alright, it's adorable. And it looks like, I mean, the feeding, I haven't seen the feeding trays. Whoops. Sorry, buddy. Who'd have thunk? I'll put you down over here. Can they reach that? Yes, looks like they can. I haven't seen the feeding trays get filled up. Keep an eye out for it. Keep an eye out for it. But otherwise, yeah, I mean, this thing gets used every, you know, once a year, and when it's not being used, it's playing that other tune. Send this to March, if I can get there quickly enough. We'll actually see what happens when our educator isn't able to get here on time. Looks like he will be able to. Wow. This guy deserves a raise. This guy deserves a raise. But instead, I'm going to go ahead and drop his... There we go. He's been overpaid for so very long. That was his raise. That was his bonus for last year. Alright, cool. I desperately want to see these babies, though. Before we call it today, I want to see what these babies look like. Look at that. Just lounging. Oh my god, the little rollover. Are you kidding me? I feel you, buddy. I feel you. Got these guys down over here. Still coming through. Even without the guest talk. Alright, cool. So underwater exhibits work. Well, rather, underwater viewing platforms work. Look at these crowds. Just spend some time with these animals before the babies come through. You gonna hop on? Interesting seeing the, like that kind of worm animation there. Okay, get on top there. We got a baby on the way as well, right? July? Dude, very soon. Very soon. We could pick up the pace a little bit. Get us there a little bit faster so we can spend some time with the baby. Buddy, are you stuck over here? And yeah, still no food up over there. I guess the underground feeder is doing the job. 0 uses in the last 12 months. What are you up to? Guys also just lounge. They're not really... Not a care in the world. Not a care in the world. Good stuff. And again, yeah, not really bothering with donation bins or anything like that. Okay, this guy needs, I think, liberating. Go ahead and move him up over here before he starts to starve or something like that. Can we not, there we go. Free him. And we're just about ready to see the baby. Alright, good stuff. Got the pace a bit more. Get us to July. That's pretty fun. I mean, the limitations are quite clear. I mean, we know they can't hop. It's pretty cool to see how they dip underwater and how deep they actually go was something I was curious about as well. It's like, do they go deep enough that an underwater kind of tunnel viewing experience is, you know, suitable? And I mean, yes, you can very clearly see them swimming around. They get very deep into the water, especially if you have something like the underwater feeder over here that draws them down from time to time. So that works quite nicely. And what happens during the rain? Are they going to seek cover? That's also what I was hoping this would act as, a little bit of cover from the rain. It is July, offspring imminent. Go on then, over to the rookery, as it were. How do animals actually, like, translate these things when they're, you know, in a zoo? Like, do they behave the same way? I'm curious about how that behavior changes for these animals when they're in a zoo, because they don't have to really fatten themselves up anymore. But do they still just not eat for those many weeks that they are, you know, that they naturally wouldn't? Look at those big eyes. The little blinks. Come on. You got a surface to deliver. You got a surface. At least I think so. Watch, the baby's already out. Oh, offspring still imminent. She'll come up soon enough. Hopefully. Hopefully. Teleporting seal over here. Come on now. Come on now. We're gonna be waiting forever, aren't we? Yeah, it's actually pretty nice to see the space getting used. I was worried that we'd way overdone it in terms of space, but I guess we haven't. I mean, okay, there's way too much water. There's like 4 times as much water as needed, but it's okay. It's worked out just fine. Way too much, like, deep water as well, but it's okay. It's worked out just fine. Worked out just fine. Guys, down up top over here. Watkins, what a name. What a name. Offspring due in September. I mean, our July baby and our September baby are going to arrive at the same time at this rate. Where'd she go? Where'd you go? Can't find my own animals. There we go. Winona. Still no baby. I think she's surfaced, but still no baby. Okay, fair enough. Pick up the pace a little bit. September baby should be en route as well. They are actually rather remarkably different as well, which is super cool. I'm so glad they did that in that update, in the previous update, where they have different, you know, pelt and furs and things like that. They actually have visible distinctions. Quite nice. Give me a baby. I just want to see a baby seal. Pick up the pace a bit more, even. They're both just swimming. Offspring imminent, just swimming around. Well, see, about to have... Yeah, that's a lie. Come on now. Oh, yeah, there we go. Get up there. Get up there. Yes. No. Go, go, go. Okay, excellent. Baby time. Come on. Baby time? Oh, maybe. Maybe. This wobbling looks absolutely hilarious in the higher speed. There we go. Don't you dare wobble away from me. Let me observe you first. They are so cute. And yeah, you can see the little, like, kind of fuzz they've got going on for starters. That is totally worth it. Are those little ear holes? I guess so, eh? Absolutely worth it. Oh, they're fast. Oh, you're very fast. This brings me a ridiculous amount of joy. You can navigate. Oh, interesting. You can't get into the water. Is it because you're too young, or is it because of the terrain? I need to adjust the terrain a little bit, don't I? Hang on, then. So you're able to get over to here. Yeah. Oh, interesting. Yeah, they're not going to go into the deep water. That is a... That's a pretty big difference in behavior in terms of adult versus juvenile. Yeah, you can see... Oh, wow. That's really cool. So you can take a slight dip, but you're not going to go all the way in. Glad we waited for the baby to arrive. Definitely glad we waited for the baby to arrive. Wiggling in the water there. Let's go ahead and get a mechanic before things start breaking. Adorable. Absolutely adorable. Go, buddy, go. They're so fast. You wouldn't imagine it looking at them. That's strange. So all their enrichment and stuff like that is restricted to them as babies. Look at that U-turn. As little babies, they're not able to, oh my god, they're so cute. They're not able to get into the water, so they're not able to use these. They're not able to use rubber duckies unless can we place rubber duckies on yeah, we can. Okay, fair enough. So I guess that's a possibility. But in terms of food as well, they can't use the underwater feeder, which also, take a look at that. You can actually visually see the fish coming up. But yeah, okay, that's pretty interesting. Well, I mean, folks, I think that pretty much covers everything we can cover about the seal over here. We've seen the babies. We've seen their limitations in terms of how they cannot move, and just how much you'd have to play around with slopes to make sure they're able to climb to little secluded spots and stuff like that. Good to know. We learned also beyond the seals themselves, we learned a thing or two about the animal talk as well. So overall, I would say a pretty productive session, actually. I mean, we also figured out if the underwater views are worth pursuing, and I would say yes. We've also found out how animal talks work with these underwater tunnels. So yeah, I would say quite a productive episode of this, mini sort of sidebar series talking about the new DLC for Planet Zoo. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you found it informative. If you did, let me know down below by leaving a like and a comment. It does make a very big difference. Those of you that are familiar with the channel will already know it helps you make decisions for the channel. So if you have any feedback, opinions, thoughts that you're wanting to share, feel free to do that down below. My plan is that this Thursday, I suppose, we'll be doing another addition to this zoo in the sandbox mode, and getting our next animal in. Now, which animal do you want to see next? Let me know down below, and I will try and maybe make this space work a little bit as well to further experiment with these seals and see how far we can push them or not push them, and see what we can do with them. But yeah, let me know what you think. If you had a good time, if you didn't, feel free to leave some feedback down below. It's always very helpful to me. And let me know what you would like to see next and what I should maybe focus on next, and how we can maybe push some of these facilities and stuff as well if we need different climates and things like that. This is a taiga environment, so the temperatures have certain ranges which we can play around with, obviously with the temperature regulators and things like that. But folks, that is it for today. I hope you enjoyed. Y'all know what to do if you did or didn't. Let me know. Yeah, this is I'm liking this DLC so far. I'm liking what I'm seeing so far. Folks, as always, a massive thanks goes out to all of my channel members and patrons for supporting the channel on a monthly basis. Y'all keep us alive and running smoothly. And of course, a big old thanks goes out to each and every one of you for watching. Until next time, cheers.